What's up, beautiful people? We are at the Chaka Caves, which is like a traditional village here in Marangu, Tanzania. Yeah, we're gonna check everything out. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so it's like a cultural tour that we're gonna do, and I guess learn about the way they make coffee and some other things. Check out the caves. So yeah, this is pretty near where we were staying, but the people who or the tribe that used to reside in this area called the Chagga. But this is like a historical site. So yeah.
Radical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're here today, and we're at the Chaka Caves, and we're going to, I guess you're going to tell us the activities we're going to do. What is your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Daniel Mlingi.
Daniel Mlingi?
Daniel Mlingi. Mlingi is the family name, clan name, but Daniel is my personal name.
Okay.
Yeah, we are around the Chaka Caves, which were made by the natives of these big mountain slopes. To hide away from the neighbor tribes who live in the downstairs. Used to attack them, rob their food stuff and slaves and things. Eventually they came to the cave to hide. So that's part of the activity we're gonna have around your small tour we're doing here. Beside it, you will visit also their traditional houses to see how they could cope with the snowfalls, humidity of the entire year, almost, or a long time of the year, without the grass get rotten and the house get disappeared in 3-4 years. For them, they sustain it for 75 years plus by cooking inside. The smoke acts as repellent for the fibers and woods and all this kind of stuff, etc. As we pop in that side, you will have a look and maybe more details. Yeah, but outside here, pleasure to tell more of what you guys happy to know. The Highlanders, Chagga, their name Chagga from misguided information. Authors came to Africa, took stuff from locals, put them in writings and misguiding us. And we are called the what we are now, Wachagga, which is not. In our typical Swahili way, we are Wachaka. Wachaka, because the homeland up here, the territory, it's quite greenery, it's bushes, forest everywhere. So the Swahili neighbors of the Chaggas, they call people of the bushes, or people live in the bushes and forest. Also how they built the traditional houses way back. It is sticks all over and some grass on top. It looked like a bush as well. So always they call them, they live in the bushes and all this kind of stuff. Is that okay?
That's great.
Karibu.
That's great. So it's Chaka, not Chagga.
Chaka is the typical Swahili name for them.
Wow.
Chagga, it's misguiding information brought by book writers who fail to take things from locals and put them in writings according to their needs of time and so on. Then we became Wachagga. Yeah. But otherwise, they never have a cave before. Before 400 years, nothing like a cave existed. They just started to move here from nomadic tribes surrounding the base of the mountain. So those who were able to come up here and cope with coldness, humidity, etc. And also quit from polygamy practice. No. If you find the old men, all the rich guys with piles of thousands of cows, they have 10 wives or plus. And they never look like, tired guys from such experience and whatever. They are moving happy, strong, healthier. They hit 100 years plus, etc. with less stress. To compare to nowadays, it's crazy. People can't get to 50s already. They are worn out. Everything is out of order. Yeah. So if you guys will have specific stuff you want to know from these guys' lives, I'm happy to tell, because what I'll be doing here, it's about 900 years, people's life. We are trying to compress them down to few minutes tour. So it's a lot of stuff can be out of track, or some can be in. So simply, if you guys pop questions, I'm happy to bring it.
In this, the Chaka society, was it the animals or the cows that made you wealthy?
They are animals, actually. They were not even good for beef. Nothing even dairy commodity. They are so tiny, they are cows. Indigenous cows up here, they are so small, not like nowadays laboratory developed cows like tankers or stuff like that. No, for them very tiny, produce very little amount of milk. But people here likes them to hell because of they were manure machinery. Remember, it's greenery forever, so they eat all the fibers and greens and leaves and whatever from plants and cut them to small chunks. The organic repairing material, the manure, fertilization stage, and their soil pick it back to rotation and hit it 3 times, harvest it for 12 months. You can go back on the same ground and till and plant 3 times and it never undemineralized.
So
With the monogamy, they were good to go. It's only 5% for them roughly become polygamy, but the major reason for them it's royal family members. They all have to have more than one to sustain the kingdom or the government on their side. Otherwise, if you have one, when the kids are 20s or stuff like that, they prove something was wrong from way and you can't fix it. It's too late and the government has to shut off. Nobody wants that for wise people. So always they have different girls to avoid hidden chronic diseases and stuff for their generations to get going, but also wealthy accumulation. There was no special institutions like schools, accounts, resource management, etc. So you find a girl can count to 200, it's a lot. So the boy with the 500 cows, you're in trouble. More than half of everything you have, nobody cares of them because she can't count that. And the boys also were not trained, school they could go. So they were not good in that way of resource managing or accounts. So simply that's how polygamy was practiced in Africa. They put more girls to help with manage their resources, and then you count a wife, a girl, not 100 cows or 200 cows, 10 are dead, few are sick or this. No. You just have this girl and she give you details about what she have there. And when there are too many for her, she get crazy, you marry another one and she continue to do that. And then you just communicate with them. Although it's not very good because eventually all of these girls, 5, 10 of them, they have to rely in one man. Not that scientifically very good.
What was the size of the population of the Chaka people in those days?
In that point of time?
Yes.
It's less than 1,000 up here.
Okay.
Around 700 people were found here. I was thinking of 62 families. There were 7 dialects. So 7 dialected.
Okay.
In one big tribe around the base of the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we are the 3rd largest ethnic group in this country.
Wow.
Yeah. We have Sukuma and the people nearby the western of the country, Tabora, this region, Nyamwezi. There are 2 giant ones. And then Chagga is the 3rd largest. Talk of 3 millions roughly now. Roughly, yes. And the entire country here down to Zanzibar, it's about 60.
Okay. Is this the only country that the Chaggas are in Africa, or are more countries like Kenya?
Well, you cannot have anyone apart from being up here and practice what they do, and then they become Chaggas. But if you stretch back, even you guys, anyone, we have one root. We have one race. We came from that all the way down. Yeah, so to find the remnants or whatever anywhere, that's very common. Even our DNA is not only here, they are just everywhere. If you want to trace their story, they were developed from lower land tribes. The eastern side, we have Rombo. It's a dialect within Chagga. All these go to Wakamba and the Wataita DNA. These 2 tribes, Taita and Kambas, now they're in Kenyan side. 400 years ago, nothing like Kenya or Tanzania existed on earth. It was a freeland African region controlled by ethnic groups. But after people came with their interest, colonial, whatever, and then they made man-made borders.
Wow.
And then from there we started to be different from them and all of it, etc.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So they were developed slowly from people of those groups in the lower land, slowly coming up here. If you stretch much to the western of the mountain, the DNA of the dialect, the Machame, people named Machame, it's also one of the dialects in Chagga. Their DNA is Maasai. Coming from the western side. If you stretch the history of Maasai, pull it back, it goes to Kenya, but even much far than Kenya. They are Nilotic, so they have not something to do with Nile, River Nile, all the way far away. Okay. Yeah, but when they were searching where better areas to live, Kenya was not enough from Nile. They discovered Serengeti, Ngorongoro. They went that way. And as you know, their name, it's Exodus. It means Exodus. They can't stop anywhere. If you stop them somewhere, they will die. If you keep them longer somewhere, practically all of them will die. Of course, their cows are too many. They're gonna eat everything, and once they finish, they will eat dusty worms. They will die, and all the people live after this machinery. Will shut off all. You understand? They have to be on the move. So few months, always they are warriors like you. They have to be ahead of the game to find the permanent grazing areas and water for their animals, and then they will be leading their herds that way, and then the cycle goes permanently. Never stops.
So were the Chagga people, would you say they're more herder, gatherer, maybe farming people? They were
cultivator, yes, corn, veggies, etc. They are very rich with this up here in the highlands because it's zero grazing area. Although they are generated from herders.
Herders,
Yeah, clear? 30 to 50 years you are on the mountain slopes here struggling with farmers and things. You forget too many cows, too many wives, simply became Chagga. You habituate automatically. And if you move from here downstairs, you start with so many cows, eventually you can't manage them, you need many wives and so on. Then you become what they are and no longer this stuff here. Otherwise, that's how... Sorry.
Okay. No, it's cool. So you said that the Chaka tribe was in the bushes, right? Up here.
It means bushes, or they are up here in the forest in the bushes.
Yes. Bushes, but you also said they were being attacked.
Many times, every generation they go 2 times or once. Big fight with the neighbor tribes.
With the neighbor tribes. I'm going to ask you, like, who was attacking them?
Neighbor tribes located from 1,000 meters and lower, they are all nomadic. Because it's quite flat, dry, very wide, and the best always to be herder, not the cultivator. If you become a cultivator, it's once a year, heavy rain season, and that's it. But up here, it's humidity, it's cooler, and it's 2 times the rain seasons per year, and so on. So they were cultivators, but they're in trouble with neighbor tribes, of which their neighbor tribes, they're the best life partners. They're eco-friends, ecological friends. They rely on each other. No one is happy to live without the other. Lower landers rich with animal products and so on, but they can't eat cows daily to live. They need grains and so on to balance their meals. So they get this from highlanders. And highlanders, remember, they have 1 or 2 cows in their house. I told you the cows are not good for dairies or beef or stuff like that. And you don't chop them 3-5 years, the Chagga cows, they're in the house. So no beef if you have to wait 5 years. Dairies, snow followed here, so they could die from hypothermia. Cow skin was ideal for dressing, to stay warmer, and so on. So the highlanders benefit this from lower landers. Animal products, exchanging with grains products.
Because the guys.
But at some point of time, the sky used to get so dry. 3-4 years, every 30 to 70 years, they have 3-4 years of less rain or no rain at all in some places for lower landers. And this practically caused no grass. From no rain, no grass, no cows. No cows. The population, 3-5% of the population make them desperate. Survivors goes everywhere now, killing, stealing, does anything. This is why they used to go highlands from 1,000 meters and higher. It's greenery forever. It's and it's humid, it's cooler. A small number of people in the house, but lots of grains for them. They pile it and they harvest it 3 times every year. They go on the grounds. They sell to you only if the weather is good. Your animals are good. You can trade, and so when the weather is too bad, the animals are shivering and can't move, so skinny. They don't buy them. And then you have to grab some of these grains from them to survive, and grab some slaves too. Boys earlier were victims, young ones. But when these boys were 18 years or plus, they're puberty, matured, they rebel, they fight back, revenges. They kill slave masters or attack them or so on. So they didn't like them. They learned this and bear this behind their mind. It's okay if we are suffering to death. We can go steal some food from neighbors, it's okay, but don't steal their boys. It's dangerous, like stealing a big leopard and keeping your house. One of the days you are under attack, you want or not, So to be safe, they came with deformation warfare, 17th century plus. This is the case for the caves to be made. The caves were built from the riverbank. After assessing stratification, they find limestone. If no limestone, they don't make it. They use limestone as a roof of the cave. They go under limestone and take all the soil into the river, running water, away to the ocean. No pile to be kept for detection. The enemies might see this and learn before you get anywhere what you're doing, and you'll be like cutting your legs before you start the race. Wow. Yeah, so wash the soil to the ocean was a technique every day. 54 years roughly they could make the cave made. Light-proof and soundproof system. I mean, to go into those galleries of the caves, you have to go through a tunnel. And this tunnel is not made straight always. It's a bit twisted. So it acts like a soundproof and light-proof. Light doesn't travel across easily and so on. You understand?
Yeah. So how long did this go on?
How long did it happen?
In the cave, like the Chaka people in the caves, and
the story I told you, it's about 900 years together. People's life, we are trying to compress them down to a few minutes tour. So the cave started around 17th century plus, but if it's 900 years, so it's simply see they struggle for more than 600 years to learn they should make a cave. And then they made the cave and used it for roughly 300 years. Until the 1950s, they started political recognitions and political organizations. It was African liberation dates, if you remember, in 50s to 60s. So from 50s, actually 1961, they managed to make themselves a nation. Tanganyika, the mainland of Tanzania, and speak Swahili instead of 121 dialects or tribes and things. Tanganyika. TAN.
Right.
Okay? This is 61. 64, Zanzibar came back. Remember, people walked, they could, from Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar and Zanzibar back that way. Or creatures did. Buffaloes, giraffes, whatever, used to go Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam, Serengeti, everywhere. But this is 30,000 years story, or a bit more plus. It's only less than 30,000 years. A small stream started between Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar, and this small stream caused erosion for 30,000 years and keep Zanzibar deep in the ocean like a piece of Asian continent, and ended up mistaken by some Asians. It was part of Oman Sultanate in 1964. After all these discoveries and revelations and things came along, and then Zanzibar were happy to come back to Dar es Salaam to join back. But it's huge water body already, so by papers and whatever, Zanzibar came with 3 of them. 3 initials. Zan, yes. TAN is from Tanganyika, the mainland, free from British colonial control 1961, Tanganyika. 121 tribes. And then Zanzibar came back in 1964 to join with Tanganyika, and the state initials of Tanganyika, TAN, state initials of Zanzibar, ZAN, were collected and blended to make it Tanzania, 1964, and speak Swahili. No more struggle of this type. And caves were forgotten until UNESCO declared Kili a heritage for the world sites, 1989. Otherwise, that's what happened way back.
Wow.
Listen enough to bring you to the point.
That's rich.
Here.
That's a lot of history.
So, UNESCO professor told us eventually, from some cave stories, you or we will end up utilizing our potential better. Instead of, play, sleep with it until when it's too late. It's very bad because it becomes manure in the graveyards. It's too late when we are old enough to die. The trees will grow, maybe some flowers or grass. Not the best use of our potential. We should better before, not after. If you don't mind, Magdalena is ready. See you soon. Is that okay?
All right, that's great.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. So that was, that was a lot of history. Very detailed from the brother here. We appreciate that. So now Magdalena's going to take us on a tour of the actual caves to see where the Chaka people used to live and protect themselves.
Yes.
Spanish food. Spanish or Italian food.
Okay. This is very steep, so watch.
We'll pass it through. But if you not correct,
We to do this skull break.
Oh, okay. They killed the enemy.
4 kilometer for civilization.
Oh, mortuary.
Also.
What?